Comedy is subjective. All art is really subjective. There's no like universally good thing. The universe can't decide if something is good or not. But I hear it all the time. Comedy is subjective, which is us, the reviewer's way of saying you might laugh at something and I might not, or vice versa. And we see it more and more often as comedy films are dying, and there's a lot less comedy because when companies try to pander to the biggest crowd possible, not everyone finds the same thing funny. And thus, this moment where we talk about the quality of comedy, it's a lot harder to do. As much as I love dumb movies, as much as I laugh at stupid memes, I really haven't experienced a comedy video game. Which is odd because you can do just about anything in a video game. And there have been plenty of video games that have made me laugh. The South Park games are really funny. Portal makes me laugh. But there aren't a lot of video games that sole purpose is to make the gamer laugh. And I can see why. Because gamers are miserable people. Think of any video game in the past 5 years that had jokes in it, and it probably got roasted like Squidward at open mic night.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And this goes beyond video games, by the way. The internet has sucked the funny bone out of everybody's lifespan. There's no more comedy movies, sketch comedy's dead, stand-up comedy isn't as big as it used to be. And every time I do see someone laughing at someone, there's always someone in the audience who's like, oh, that's cringe, bro. The internet's so afraid of being cringe that the only form of comedy left are TikTok memes and brain rot. Anything longer than that becomes an episode of Rick and Morty. I should have guessed that Rick and Morty was going to be brought up before the actual game I'm reviewing. I love Rick and Morty, and even as I say that, I hesitate, and I feel like a little ugh come up my spine because of what Rick and Morty has become, and because I don't want to look cringe on the internet. But there was a time, especially those first 2 seasons, even the 3rd season, I'm a season 3 defender, that Rick and Morty was celebrated on the internet. It was one of the greatest cartoons of all time. And there was nothing more pure than stoners sitting on a couch watching the misadventures of Rick, Morty, and Mr. Poopy Butthole. But Rick and Morty fell off. It doesn't matter when it fell off, it did. And the same characters who I would just throw on random episodes for just to see, I can't sit through them for more than 20 minutes at a time before really wanting to not watch them anymore. And maybe that's me. Maybe I should look at myself and look at my own funny bone, and maybe that's disappearing before my eyes too. Or maybe there's some behind the scenes stuff that happened that made Rick and Morty fall apart, also very plausible. And Rick and Morty also might just be one of those jokes that lasts too long that Justin Roiland loves to do, where he says a joke, repeats it, and then the joke just won't die. It just keeps going and going and going, just like the show itself.
Oh man, look at this weird thing. Look at this weird thing right here. Oh man, that sure is weird. Just a weird day out here with this weird thing that we're gonna focus on this weird thing. Oh man. Huh, it's almost awkward how long this joke is going on. That's also weird. Huh.
Weird. That's a Justin Roiland joke. So even if there is a good joke in there, a lot of the times they just become repetitive and annoying. Which is my golden segue to High on Life. And yes, that very long intro was completely necessary. Necessary because I think it perfectly captures my thoughts on High on Life. Because there is that part of my brain that would love like a Rick and Morty style game, a game with dozens of hours of comedy, I'm belly laughing all the way through, big stoner vibes, love all that shit. Then there's the undead Goomba that lives in my soul that knows better. I haven't laughed in years. High on Life, I should also say, is a game by Justin Roiland's team, or his used to be his team. It's a first-person adventure game where you're a young boy thrown into space and you're given a bunch of guns to shoot a lot of things with, but the catch is all of these guns are alive and have personalities, and they don't shut the fuck up.
Follow the waypoint! That's why you're wearing that fancy suit, isn't it? I mean, it's got the augmented reality thing on it, right?
I did not need to know how this game functioned to know that this gun was going to make the exact same style of joke many, many times. And yes, that indeed happened. So if you don't like comedy or even this style of comedy, get ready, because you're gonna get pelted. You're gonna get pelted with these jokes. I can tell a lot of the negative reviews coming out for this game are just people who had to stomach through a lot of jokes they didn't want to sit through. And yeah, you're not gonna have a good time if that's the case. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of jokes in this game that did not land with me, But there's also a lot of the humor I did like about the game. For instance, a lot of video game stories, the best stories are stories that are able to incorporate gameplay into them. And the same goes for comedy. Like with Undertale, the way it subverts your expectations, or in South Park, the fact that you're playing an RPG, but you're also pretending to play an RPG. Those are the things that make me laugh, and High on Life does the same thing. Like, I'm talking to an NPC, and I exhaust all his dialogue, and then he declares that I have exhausted all of his dialogue, and I will now give you the silent treatment, and then he just doesn't say anything ever again. You have a knife. He is just stoked to join your party. He's like, let's just kill a bunch of stuff. And every time you kill somebody, he is stoked to be a part of the party. And none of this is groundbreaking comedy. These aren't like the best jokes ever written. But I hate this huge expectation we have on comedy nowadays. Like, comedy, a lot of the times, is harder to write than dramas. And when I was growing up, there was a lot of comedy out there, and a lot of the jokes were just stupid and dumb, but they were still very watchable or very entertaining. Like, Rick and Morty might take a very high IQ to understand, but Rick and Morty is also just a very stupid, dumb show with a lot of gag jokes, and that's okay. And if you're not into any of that, this is, still a video game. It's a first-person shooter. It's a pretty decent first-person shooter. And it's one of those ones that kind of keep getting better the more you play it. Like, first the guns feel pretty good, then you get more guns, and then you see certain enemies that, I should switch to this gun, and then you're given a jetpack, and by the end of the game, you're jumping around, you're flying, you're going from gun to gun to gun, there's hordes of enemies everywhere. It gets pretty fun towards the end. Like, I never had this huge expectation of this game or anything, but I did feel like they were really trying to do something rather than just coast on the Rick and Morty franchise. They were actually trying to make a pretty decent video game here. I also really like that it doesn't bog you down. Like, there's not like a ton of collectibles, there's not like this eternal game loop that you have to participate in. It's a one and done, you get through everything, you're done with the game. But if there is something I don't like about the game, it's just kind of got an unpleasant vibe. Because you're mostly just looking at these hideous aliens, like purposely made to look hideous aliens. And then there's one other human who's your sister. She has like a 1950s emotionless poster glued onto her face the entire game. And even a lot of the world design, it just feels like sickly and gross, and I know that's what they are going for, but it's not my vibe. And I like the soundtrack, but I also don't know how to feel about the soundtrack because it doesn't really match a lot of what was happening in the game. Like, it feels like a very eerie, drug-filled sci-fi bad trip, and the kind of fun, quirky comedy game I was playing, it didn't really match that. And I'm not completely knocking that. There is kind of this oddball, eerie feel to the world of this game that the soundtrack matches. It just doesn't really line up with, Justin Roiland screaming in my ears. And while I'm on that subject, that is going to be a make or break for a lot of people with this game. The, I think, canceled Justin Roiland, who has a plethora of 2 voices, who repeat the same jokes over and over again. He is here front and center the entire game. And the entire game, not just the guns, a lot of the NPCs are going to be voiced by either a stammering Morty voice or just a dry, sarcastic Rick voice. And there's a lot of them. There's Rick and Morty characters, but they're all kind of gross aliens, which he literally already did. There's a whole show I didn't watch that is already that. So if you absolutely hate this, if this breaks the game for you, I completely understand. But for me, it was kind of like a mixed bag. I did find it annoying. There were some good jokes in there. But even by the end of the game, there's this weird companionship you have, especially with the main gun. All your guns you have a companionship with. And it's the little moments I try to shoot an NPC and my gun's whoa, 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 I'm not gonna do that. I'm not a part of this. Little moments like that, I'm oh, okay, I like that. And it's little moments where you try to shoot an NPC you're not supposed to, and the gun's whoa, 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 you can't do that. I'm not gonna be a part of this. I'm not a murderer. Little moments like that where it's oh, it's a normal video game thing, but they made it into something a little bit more cool. And by the end, because you're a bounty hunter, you start getting this big arsenal. You get your little crew together, and you're going on little bounty hunting adventures. It's an autistic Cowboy Bebop or something. And when I mean towards the end of the game, I mean towards, because the actual ending of this game is ass. Because there are some games that have great endings with huge fanfare And then there are some games that are great and they just have these endings with a little bit of fanfare. And then there are games with just bad endings, zero fanfare. This game is that one. Literally, the game ends, nothing happens. I literally thought my game was broken for a second, and then the credits started to roll, and I was like, oh, okay. And I think there was even like a patch. I heard that like the NPCs, like the main NPCs who you're supposed to be talking to after the game ends, they literally just wouldn't do anything. That's crazy. There is this tiny little secret room you can find, which has a whole cutscene that alludes to a High on Life sequel. In my script here, it says that will probably never come out. It's literally out now. That's why I have to speed up this review. This is how long I take to make reviews. Entire sequels get announced and come out by the time I film them. But in short, High on Life, it's a pretty good game. At the same time, you don't gotta like clear your backlog. You don't gotta rush to put this game front and center in your life or anything. It's just a decent enough game that you should get around to. If anything, this game is perfect for like your Game Pass or your PlayStation Plus, or, you know, back in the day when we rented video games, it would have been a perfect rental. And then we decided we should just, you know, pay monthly for things we may or may not be playing. And if we try to cancel those, there are ramifications, or we'll just pay full price for things we're not even sure about in pre-orders. And why did we do that again? I love capitalism. I'm giving High on Life a 7 out of 10.
Let's watch some crazy stuff, yo!
Which, by the way, if you have not subscribed already, I would very much appreciate your subscription. Not only that, you can hit the thumbs up button, the hype
Hey, wait a minute,
button.
Rick.
Very
I thought this
small
was a
channel here.
commercial.
Anytime you
What's
guys
going on?
hit
I mean,
those little buttons,
don't-
or you
don't
go
worry
in the
about it. Let's just
comments,
see where
that
this
helps me out
goes.
a lot, and I appreciate any of y'all
Oh my
that
God,
do
it's
that.
still the
That being
commercial.
said, I'm about done here. That's all I got for this one. Thank you for watching, and until next time with that, I leave you.